Hello everyone and welcome back. Now tonight is a special night because tonight is the night we finish this book. And since it's a special occasion, I brought my therapy friends with me. All four of them. And because it's the last one, like my last book when I finished, this last video will be unedited. So you'll see all of my mistakes tonight. Every time I scratch myself, every time I may need to get comfy or anything else really, or any time I seriously flub up, it will be uncut. Excuse me. Obviously, if I accidentally drop a swear word, then I'll try to edit it, if I don't actually remember. I keep saying, there was a video where I forgot myself and swore about last week. I think one of the videos went out. I said I was going to edit that out and I didn't. Completely forgot. Hopefully if I do this time I'll remember. So without further ado, shall we? Excuse me. Matthew's exams. The marginal gains assessment. What's brilliant about marginal gains is that it can help to shape up your preparations in every way. Take exams, for example. When revision looms, it's easy to become panicked when you think about how much work you have to cover. A marginal gains approach helps you to reduce anxiety by looking at everything that goes into the revision process, breaking it down into small components and then building it back up with confidence. Excuse me. For God's sakes. Missed a bit. Let's see how Matthew, i.e. 12-year-old me, and that's not me the reader, me the author, just so you're clear, took this approach to be the best around the block and applied it. So let's do that again. Let's see how marginal Matthew took this approach to be the best around the block and applied it to his bid to get good grades. The goal: to improve on my exam results from last year. Revision plan. I need to divide my subjects by the time available. By sticking to the plan and building regular breaks, I can cover everything without getting over anxious and tired. My desk. The table in my bedroom has a wonky leg. It wobbles when I work and makes my handwriting hard to read. Fix the leg, or at least prop it up. Lighting. Replace the bulb in my desk lamp so I'm not squinting at my books. So far, these all seem good bits of advice. Exercise. Use at least one break time to run around the block. Not only do I want to beat Andrew, exercise is a really good way to beat exam stress. My pencils and pens. During my mock exams, I wasted the first few minutes sharpening a blunt pencil and then begging the teacher for a replacement pen as mine had run out of ink. Reclaim those vital minutes by checking my pencil case is properly packed. Past papers. Get the exam papers from the previous few years. That way I will be able to see what the examiners are looking for. You get a feel for the way questions are worded, so it will seem familiar when I take the real exam. Handmade mock tests. This is perhaps the most important thing of all. Do a paper in my bedroom under test conditions. Set a timer and get used to working under a time constraint so the real thing doesn't come as a shock. And ask my teacher to mark my paper. After all, feedback is vital if I want to improve. Shower gel. Make sure mum doesn't buy that stuff that makes me itch. On the big day, I want to be focusing on my exam and not wriggling uncomfortably, like I've sat on an ant's nest. So far, these all good. Oh no, that's the last one. How far you take the marginal gains is up to you. The key is to be smart, practical, and positive in your approach. With the changes in place, keep checking how things are going. If you have to experiment or tinker to improve things, that's fine. Learn from any mistakes. Failure is the key to improvement. Practice, practice, and practice again. Be patient, stay cool and focus. The right attitude brings its own rewards. But what happens if we're pursuing a goal that requires some kind of performance? Whether it's a dance routine or a sporting fixture, an exam or display, that one final challenge on your journey to becoming awesome might just prove make or break. So let's look at how to make the experience one of triumph instead of tears. Over to you. Hitting those gains. Think about how you can apply this marginal gains plan to the things you really want to get good at. It could be exams, skateboard flips, flute practice, writing poetry, learning language. Oh, I'm doing that one. A class debate, you name it. Excuse me. Then make a marginal gains plan. Break the plans down into smaller parts and work out how you can improve each one. Under pressure. Chapter 7. Look, under pressure. Just like the song. Disaster struck for me at the Sydney Olympic Games in 2000. It was the last thing I expected to happen. I was standing behind the curtain waiting to be announced to the crowd for my opening match. My opponent was a German player called Peter Franz. He shared my ambition and hunger to win, but I studied his form and felt confident that I could beat him. My preparation had been perfect. I spent time at training camps and received advice from a team of experts, including psychologists and nutritionists. My coach felt sure I could win an Olympic medal, which would have been a dream come true. I was at the top of my game. When I stepped through the curtains into the floodlit hall, the crowd took my breath away. And that was the moment everything went pear-shaped. And look, there's a picture of a pear. My opponent Franz opened the game. His serve was nothing special. It should have been difficult for me to return, and yet I struggled. Sorry, I read that wrong. It shouldn't have been difficult for me to return, and yet I struggled. My reflexes, trained to react with lightning speed, felt sluggish. I couldn't understand how Franz could win such an easy point, but things just went from bad to worse. Even though I wanted this victory badly, Kid Awesome has somehow deserted me. I felt like Kid Average, way out of my depth on an international stage. In front of a huge audience, I ended up defeated and humiliated. Afterwards, my coach told me what had happened in very simple terms. Matthew, he said, you choked. Choking, and how to avoid it. We're not talking about the kind of joke that can happen when you try to stuff 3 biscuits down... Sorry, let's do that again. We're not talking about the kind of joke that can happen, when you try to stuff 3 biscuits down your throat before your mum notices. When it comes to a surprise collapse in performance at a time when it matters most, choking is a term often used to describe the experience. It may not leave you gasping for air, but it's a deeply unpleasant thing for anyone to go through. The first thing to note is that nervousness is natural. When faced with a fretful and sporting opponent during an exam paper, our brain floods our body's systems with a naturally occurring hormone called adrenaline. Adrenaline makes our hearts beat faster and our breathing quicker. It is designed to prepare us for one of 3 physical responses. Either we take on the threat, run away, or get frozen to the spot. It causes a flight, fight, freeze response, and it's designed to help us survive. Trouble with such a state of high alert can also trigger a choke. The key in this situation, number 1, the key in this situation is to realise that this response is completely normal. Everyone gets anxious. It shows we care. It's worth taking a moment to walk around, shake down your arms and effectively burn off the adrenaline. Focus on your breathing. When your body is fired into a state of alert, it's easy for your brain to trigger a sense of panic. You've gone from being cool and collected to a state of anxiety in seconds. Not fun. Breathing is another effective way to help you through this. By focusing on slow, deep breaths in and out, you'll find that sense of calm returning. Why not try the 5-7-9? No, it's not a bus route. It's a tried and tested method for relieving anxiety. Give it a go. Breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for a second, hold for 7 and breathe out for 9. So let's do this, okay? Okay, that's the 579. It's hard breathing out for 9 seconds, I'll be honest with you people, but I've done it. Number 3. Don't overthink it. Let's say you're a top goalkeeper facing a penalty kick. There might be thousands of soccer fans waiting to see if you can make the save. The pressure is on, but before it becomes too much, tell yourself it's just a game like any other. The rules are the same whether you're in a stadium or at the local park with friends. If you can zone out of the pressure and play as you would in the park, you're less likely to think too much about doing something that you've learned to perform automatically, and to perfection. Number 4, get things into perspective. So you're about to do something special, or a high-level competition to starting a conversation with someone you secretly fancy. Just then, it can seem like the most important thing in the world. You've been building up to this moment after all. It's also possible to get so caught up in it that you forget that life will continue no matter the outcome. It's simply a challenge and a learning opportunity if it doesn't work out as you had hoped. Excuse me. I did say this would be an uncut video. So deal with it. It's another great way to manage any pressure you have placed on yourself, so you can conform to the best of your abilities. If there is a routine or habit you have that makes you feel less nervous, use it. Those of people do this. If taking your pet cat for a walk before the exam helps, then do it. If you think you will remember your lines with red pants on, that's okay. Coldplay frontman Chris Martin feels he has to brush his teeth before he goes on stage. I used to cut the sleeves off my table tennis shirts. Thought it helped me win. It didn't, it just made me look like I'd had an accident with a pair of scissors on the way to the tournament. Number 6. The most important thing to realise is that performing under pressure is a skill. You'll get better the more you do it. You'll learn to control your nerves and to embrace them. A meltdown isn't a reason to give up, but a chance to learn. As the tennis player Billie Jean King said, pressure is not a problem, it is a privilege. In case you don't know, Billie Jean King was a tennis player. I think she's mostly known for humiliating Bobby Riggs on a tennis court. I believe they made a film about that with someone. I think so anyway. If it is, it'll be on the screen. Choking can happen to anyone in a stressful situation. In an exam, on a date, any occasion when you're on public display, you might find that things you can normally do without thinking about them. For example, walking. Okay, that wasn't meant to be a full stop. Let's start this again, shall we? You might find that things you can normally do without thinking about them. For example, walking suddenly becoming impossible. You might trip over your own feet and fall flat. But don't worry, this is totally normal and happens to almost everyone at some point. In fact, just to prove how common it is, here's a famous failure choking special. Jennifer Lawrence. Winning her Best Actress Oscar in 2013, the actress moved towards the stage to collect her award and promptly fell over. While it's a heavy dress, surprise and nerves can all take a share of the blame for this. It's fair to say the pressure of the moment also deserves some responsibility. Rory McIlroy. At the 2011 Masters, a hugely important golfing competition, McIlroy played a dazzling game. Leading the way for the majority of the tournament, he looked set to scoop a great victory. But then, the choke. In the last round, the pressure became too much to bear, and McIlroy's game collapsed. He missed or fumbled so many shots that not only did he lose his head, he ended up finishing the whole tournament in 15th place instead of first. Over to you, your worst case scenario. Think about a task or an event that is worrying you, and write down all the things that could go wrong. Now think about what you do if these things actually happen. For example, if you're acting in a play, then there's a chance you might forget your lines. In this case, identifying someone you can turn to for a prompt could mean the difference between a minor pause and a major nightmare. Chapter 8. So as Kid Awesome, I spent a lot of time in the garage. I was getting pretty good, one of the best in Europe at table tennis, but I needed to stretch myself, make the practice harder. Mr. Charters arranged for a top coach in Bergen, Norway to spend some time with me. My mum booked the ticket, she went round to a local travel agent. There was no internet back then and no mobiles, and paid for a 20-hour coach trip. I did the block, 2 minutes 49 hours, and then packed my bat, some thermals, as it was going to be really cold, and some Norwegian kroner. I got on the bus, kicked back, listened to Michael Jackson on loop. It was the 80s. Okay? That explains the Michael Jackson thing. Then again, he was everywhere in the 80s. I've read a bit of the Lord of the Rings trilogy and made friends with a few of the German kids in the rows in front. It didn't occur to me until much later that there were an awful lot of Germans going to Norway, and no Norwegians. After about 18 hours, we were on the German autobahn. I had a passing thought that Germany wasn't really on the way to Norway, but I didn't think too much about it. I was too busy showing Klaus and Jürgen how to do a forehand smash against the bus window. And then the bus began to slow down. Klaus and Jürgen started picking up their bags, high-fiving each other that the journey was over. What on earth? And all of a sudden we're in a lay-by in Bergen, Germany, and it dawns me my mum's bought a ticket to the wrong Bergen. How many Bergens are there? As it turns out, there are 2. I was 15. There were no smartphones with sat-nav or even the ability to call parents. No internet, and I didn't have a credit card. Sensible thing might have seen if the bus driver was going back to Reading anytime soon, but I didn't do that. Instead, I decided to hitchhike to Norway. Disclaimer: never ever do this. It's dangerous and not at all fun. Now, on one level, it's a tale about a silly mix-up with tickets and not paying enough attention. But as it happened to me, I like to think it's really a story of grit, determination, and a future to give up even when the odds of success were slim. So what's the point of me telling you this story? It's because sometimes life throws you a curveball. There can be some real what on earth am I going to do now kind of moments. They all happen to you. They happen to everyone. Probably not in Bergen, Germany, and probably not with Klaus and Jürgen. But they all happen. So be ready. Be set to face anything difficulty and face it with a growth mindset and ideally a fresh pair of pants. I made it to Norway 4 days late and with Interpol looking for me after Peter, the Norwegian table tennis coach, called my mum to let her know that he had lost me. I made it via a train station in Denmark while I fell asleep on a bench and someone stole everything I owned. I had no passport, the Norwegian kroner were long gone, as were the thermal vests. Although it was darn cold when I got there in the end and the training was amazing. Whatever journey you pick, it doesn't matter how you get there. Just make a start, grit your teeth if things go wrong, and you'll get there in the end. It will be hard but worth it. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. And that's a quote from Albert Einstein, a man who supposedly made mistakes and was supposedly an awesome scientist. I was an ordinary kid from a suburban town. I started out with little in the talent department, but I practiced hard and in the right way, and worked for everything with a drive and focus that I am proud of. I really wanted to be a great table tennis player. In the end, I won't go down in history, but I got pretty darn good and I really enjoyed it. I travelled the world and met some amazing people along the way. The same is true of my writing. I was pretty clunky when I started, my editor would say, but I really wanted to be great at it. I work really hard on it, even now, even after 20 years. Every article, every book, I want to make it my best yet. I never give up too easily, and I'm never happy unless I have given it my all. It doesn't matter if you miss out on being an Olympic champion, or a Nobel Prize winner, or Prime Minister. It doesn't matter if you get to Norway 4 days late. It doesn't matter if other people are better than you. What matters is you get out there. Take a risk, dare to fail, and give it your all. Just aim to be the very best that you can be at all times. I know you'll get there because you, let's say this right, you'll do it because you, yes, you are awesome, alright? And I mean you, especially you, alright? And that is the end of the book. Let's see, here we go. Got some books here. More books about mindset. I shall read the books now. There are also some online resources, which I won't bother to read. I will, however, put links to everything, okay? The books, there will be books I'll mention now with the author and the title. I will, however, put a link to each of the books. I'll see if I can find a copy online. Now, as I've mentioned before, any links to buy the books will not give me any money. Wish they would, but they wouldn't. But they won't. Also, just because I put a link there doesn't mean it's the best place to get the book. Okay? It just gives you an idea of what the book looks like so you can see it for yourself. So, let's go through it, shall we? Books about mindset. All About Your Brain by Robert Winston. Blame My Brain, The Amazing Teenage Brain Revealed by Nicola Morgan. Mistakes That Worked by Charlotte Jones and John O'Brien. My Life, Your Life, Self-Esteem and Confidence by Honor Head. My Life, Your Life, Overcoming Fear of Failure by Honor Head. And online resources, even though I did say I wouldn't do them by well. There is a TED Talk on mindsets. Link will be in the description for all of these. There is Mindset Exercise and Strategies. And that, people, is the end of the book. Now, just so you know, if any of those links aren't I will be testing all of those links myself, okay? So if they don't exist, or maybe my antivirus software says don't go to this site, then there will be I'll probably just not cut that bit out. I know this has to be edited, but if any of the websites mentioned are dodgy, okay, they won't be in the description, and I'll cut that bit out so you can't search for it yourself, because, you know, don't want any bad things to happen, do we? So, let's go back over this book before we finish. What have we learnt? We have learned that we need to put in time and effort to do whatever we want. We have to put in the time and effort. There is no quick fix to anything. And we also learned that anything worth doing is not easy to do. Well, yeah, that's it really, I think. Just remember, people, okay, work hard, do what you can, and try to be positive about it. And I'll stress the word try because I know it's not always easy. Sometimes it's really, really hard, I get that. But all I can ask is that you try. And hopefully we'll get through this together. Okay? Now hopefully you'll stick around, because there will be another book yet. I don't know what the book is yet, I should say, but there will be another book reading. Now, I know these videos rarely bring in the views, but I know there's a select few who do watch these videos. I see you commenting, and I also see you liking my videos too. I don't know who actually presses that like button, but I know people are pressing the like button. So there are several of you out there who are actually enjoying this, so I'm going to keep going. Hopefully there will be more travel videos soon, and if I have any visions or brainwaves about other things, I will make videos about them too. So until next time, people, take care of yourselves, okay? Bye.